Good morning, guys. We are in Jefferson City, Missouri, the home of Missouri's politics. Actually, I'd probably more relate to Kansas City or St. Louis, but this random town out in the middle of nowhere, they made our state capital. But it's also Freedom Friday. Well, I was going to make a cool intro type thing to put in right there, but the video editor I use has been taken down. Why? Well, pretty much the federal government banned it, along with TikTok and other things. And you might say, well, TikTok's back. You can watch TikTok now. And well, yeah, it's back. But have you deleted TikTok? Have you deleted the associated apps that, TikTok, I guess, is associated with? For instance, CapCut, which is the video editor that I was using. Really liked it. For a free editor and, all that fun stuff. I thought it was a great editor, easy to use, a lot of features. I guess it's being associated with TikTok, they took it down. And when they brought TikTok back, I was like, all right, I got my editor back. And it was down for a couple days, and I needed space on my phone to download another editor and to make videos and stuff like that, so I deleted it. Of course, like the next day, they popped up and said, CapCut's back, you can use it again. But if you deleted any of those apps because of the way they've done the deal, technically TikTok's still banned, but they're not finding. I don't know all the legalities. Okay, you can use it, but if you delete the app, at least with Apple, you can't re-download it. They've taken it off the store, and I guess it's all because of China. It's crazy to me to think all this is over China. And it's funny because, Trump in his first term was looking to ban TikTok because of China. And really, this is what I find funny about all of it. Is they're worried about China's government, having it, all the weird stuff, looking at TikTok, seeing, getting personal information. Look, I'm sure some guy over there, my spy on TikTok, CapCut, whatever. Oh, redneck drive truck. He make TikTok about truck. Oh, he got race car too. Oh, he got horse. What are they gonna get from me? Oh, he hauls steel load. They come from China. Oh, Americans, they so funny. Pretty much since I've been born, I was born in 88. All I have known is communist Russia, communist China. China's bad, Russia's bad, North Korea's bad. And then Trump comes in and tries to make peace with these people. Oh, he's a traitor, he's a traitor. So, the kind of topic I'm hitting on already is TikTok is one of them. And the second one is Trump. Am I the biggest Trump supporter in the world? No. Far from it. And I actually get very annoyed with Trump supporters. And I'd be the first to tell you, Trump needs to know when to shut up. Now granted, since he got his ear pierced, he has calmed down a lot. A lot. And he promised American people a lot of stuff. And I think that's why they got him voted in. And he sat down and he's, from what I can tell, I don't understand. Look, I can read all day long what he did, and I can take the basics in. He signed this, he signed that. Well, what's that mean? Well, if I sit there and read it, honestly, my attention, comprehension, combination, whatever you want to call it, is through the roof some days. Some days I can sit down and focus some days I got to resort to places like TikTok or YouTube or I'm all over the place looking at different platforms to see what I see and try to understand it. I watched a podcast, or actually I listened to the podcast he did with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan made it more of a personal, one-to-one, man-to-man podcast on Trump when he interviewed Trump, or whatever you want to call it. When he sat down and talked with Trump, it really wasn't even an interview. And he asked Trump questions. Why in your first term, or all these cabinet secretaries or whatever saying all these bad things? And he's like, I wasn't a DC man. I'm a New Yorker. And I put somebody I thought I could trust in charge, and obviously it wasn't the right person. And the people we put in office, that were in the cabinet, wasn't the right people. I guess you could say from the time he got in office last go around to now, he's had quite some time to realize he had the wrong choices the first go around. And he's had time to think about who he would like to put in places and all that. And one of the crazy ones was Elon Musk. And I know he's put several rich people in place, but Elon Musk was probably the craziest one that he threw out there. But the guy's a genius. Does he have other political motives? Maybe, I don't know. But people were flipping out over his little wave he did to a crowd. And those that hadn't seen it, it went something like, his hand was out like this and kind of shook it. And people are flipping out over it, but they're only showing just a little snippet. Most time they're just showing a picture of it, his hand extended out, like they did in Nazi Germany. But, if you play the full clip, he's doing a symbol. He's taking his heart out and giving it to the people. That he's trying to symbolize. The dude has Asperger's autism. If you don't know anybody personally that has it, I know people that personally have it. They're extremely smart people, geniuses more or less. They do weird things with motions. One of the best things I think I've seen or heard out of any of the people that, since Trump's been put in, he seems to be trying to get people that are on the same page to take it back to more or less how we were in the colonial days, in early years of the United States, 1776. When they had a centralized, more or less centralized federal government, but they left the states in charge of governing the people. That way the people had a choice. And they all come together in, say, DC. Our country was never intended on being ruled, and I say ruled because that's kind of how people are starting to look at it. Our country was never intended to be ruled by one federal government. We're the united, should be the key word, united states, meaning multiple states, kind of like countries. United States of America. We unite in D.C., but the states are the people are to govern the states. And they come together, kind of intervene up there. But the way it has gone pretty much my whole life is the federal government has tried to basically rule us. And it's gotten worse with social media. I feel like they wanted to ban TikTok because it wasn't necessarily China as much as there was a lot of stuff that didn't get fact checked. My own opinion is that TikTok, people on TikTok, American citizens, even people of different countries, the media would show little clips of Trump saying something and take it completely out of context. And he couldn't find any other information on any other site, YouTube, Facebook, as far as any American site, you couldn't find it because of fact checkers would take it down, or deem it false information or whatever. And so a lot of people went to TikTok, and these little clips that would demonize Trump, they would show the full thing. Now, the government used the excuse they're concerned about, China spying on America and all that through TikTok. But what about American government spying on people through YouTube and Facebook? There's also been many, popular YouTubers. Some people are even on regular TV, not throwing names or anything out, but there have been many people who get busted through YouTube and Facebook for modifying cars. I guess I should specify modifying cars for customers. But the government used American platforms to do that. They didn't go out and do dirty work. They got on social media. And, and they're concerned about China doing that type of stuff. And I think that's another thing Trump did that was wise, was put Kennedy Jr. in place. Bob is what he calls him. In place for the what do they call it, the health administration, or whatever you want to call it, because he's got, if you really look into what he says and does, he understands. The FDA allows us to eat and drink poison. They're allowing medications that basically create other health issues. Our biggest profiting industry in America is the pharmaceutical industry. At least I believe it's the top. I know it's up there. It's one of the top. If it's not the top, it's one of the top two. Probably top three at the minimum, maximum. I don't know. But it's up there. And he's got it figured out. They've been poisoning us to keep poisoning us. It's better to treat than it is to cure. You know what I mean? So, you think something's going to get healed, you give them something else. My own personal opinion is, I think people need to give Trump a chance. Do I think he's the best guy? No. But I think he really, years and years ago, he went on Oprah and said that, he never planned on running for president unless it got bad. And obviously it got bad enough that he wanted to do it. And he basically ran on what he promised back on his Oprah show, in the 80s or whatever. And for those of you that hate Trump, at the end of his term this year, he can't run no more. So, but I think, like I said before, Trump needs to know when to shut up. He likes to use sarcasm. He likes to bust people's balls. That's a New Yorker for you. But one thing I have noticed already with Trump, not a big fan of who he put in charge of the transportation, Secretary of Transportation or whatever. But he's already making a push to deal with brokers in the trucking industry. He's making a push to try to make it better for us. I've seen, and that's out of his mouth, I've seen video footage of him saying that he's wanting to go after these brokers. Hopefully what Trump says with the brokers, I hope he takes care of it, so the brokers aren't the ones making the millions. They don't really have cost. They might be paying somebody to answer a phone, look on a computer, but their costs shouldn't be anywhere near as high as what our costs are to run these trucks up and down the highway. In all reality, hopefully Trump does what he says he's going to do. That's all I can ask and pray for. I don't agree with all of it, but there's a lot of stuff that he has made promises to that I hope sticks and he gets it done. Especially the overtime deal, no taxes on overtime. Personally, he's been making this big push for no tips on waitresses, or servers, I should say. Not taxing the tips on them. And I personally believe they need to be paid at least minimum wage. And if people want to tip on top of that, that's fine, but they should be paid minimum wage. Crappy waitresses shouldn't be getting on Facebook and Facebook, TikTok, and whatever else, whining that people need to tip them because that they can't afford to feed their kids if they don't get tips. That's not my deal. I shouldn't be paying somebody's paycheck, especially on tips. Just my opinion. But hopefully Trump, either way, eliminates taxation on tips. And especially for my hourly blue-collar brothers and sisters and them and days. Oh yeah, he's eliminating that too. Hopefully he gets the overtime thing in, because I know personally, I'm blue collar. If I'm not driving a truck, I love working with my hands. I love running equipment. And when it comes to overtime, there's a point where you're not making money. You're just paying the government. And I don't think that's right. The government shouldn't be getting my extra work for whatever they want to spend it on. But let's, all we can do right now, it is what it is at this point. Trump's in office. He's chosen the people that he thinks is best for his team. All you can do is hope and pray that he did. And, something said, if he says or does something that you don't agree with, actually research it. There's a lot of people that spread bad lies or misinformation to make him look bad. And don't get me wrong, it goes both ways, but I see it a lot. And I try my best to sit down and actually do my homework. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up my Freedom Friday video because I got to get out and do some work. But, yeah. Let me know down below what you think. Keep it up. I'm not just going to talk politics and stuff like that. I'm going to speak my mind. What's on my mind, whether I'm aggravated, I'm going to speak my viewpoints. Well, how I see things, how I see the world, how Clint sees the world. Another hot topic that I've really thought about is country music. That might be a later date. But we're going to go ahead and switch over. We're going to go to the Trucking Diaries, get some work done.